Newsbreak, brought to you by National Mutual.
Good evening, I'm Jo Hall. The federal government has won the Democrats' support for its controversial industrial relations bill. The agreement involved hundreds of changes to the workplace reforms, which will now be passed by the Senate.
It's an agreement that'll change the face of the Australian workplace. And both the government and the Democrats were all smiles when they announced it on the Sunday program.
Certainly it is very important in the life of this government.
The Democrats are happy that we found a right balance.
The outcome of 50 hours of negotiations between Industrial Relations Minister Peter Reith and Democrats leader Cheryl Kernot, the agreement was signed in secret on Friday before its joint release.
It's a pretty good agreement, I think.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
I wouldn't put my name to it if I didn't agree with that.
The 140-page agreement guarantees Senate support for the Workplace Relations Bill, a law the Prime Minister's given top priority. And even though 181 changes have been made to the original law, Mr Reith insists the basic push towards workplace agreements is intact. The deal will see a no disadvantage test imposed, minimum conditions widened to include superannuation, junior pay rates retained while an inquiry is conducted into youth unemployment, and secondary boycotts reinstated, albeit with exemptions for consumer and environmental action. The opposition dismissed the deal as a tawdry little agreement that'll leave workers less secure. But with the votes to push it through, the government's now confident its new work laws will be in place by early next year. David Turnbull, Canberra.
Support continues to grow for outspoken independent MP Pauline Hanson, according to a new survey. A Bulletin Morgan poll shows she could control the balance of power in the Senate if she decided to run. A so-called Hanson movement would pick up 18% of the vote, doubling the Democrats' count. That would guarantee 7 seats in a half-Senate election and 12 in a vote for the full Senate. Sydney police are hunting a gunman they believe carried out 3 armed hold-ups this afternoon, shooting a man during his latest raid. The 35-year-old man was hit in the leg at an antique shop in Glebe after refusing the gunman's demand for money. He was taken to hospital in a serious but stable condition. Police say the gunman is believed responsible for hold-ups at sporting goods shops in the city's north and another inner western suburb. He's reported to be armed with a semi-automatic pistol. Israelis have paid tribute to assassinated Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin on the first anniversary of his death. Tens of thousands formed a human chain which stretched from the centre of Jerusalem to Rabin's gravesite, closely guarded by police. They later marched on the office of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, calling for his resignation. And the American Justice Department has officially cleared security guard Richard Jewell of involvement in the Atlanta Olympic Park bombing 3 months after the blast, which killed 2 and injured more than 100. The United Nations has warned that Africa is on the brink of another humanitarian catastrophe as hundreds of thousands of refugees continue to flee fighting in Zaire. Aid workers have also been evacuated.
From this troubled region of Africa, it's reported up to 500,000 Hutus are now on the move. For the past 2 years, they have lived in the relative safety of UN-protected camps on the Zairian border. Now fighting between the Hutus' traditional enemy, the Tutsis, and the Zairian army has sparked a new refugee crisis. After the massacre in Rwanda 2 years ago, these people have every right to be frightened and every right to be on the move. Early this morning, the UN had been planning to fly urgent food and medical supplies into the region. The fighting became so intense, the planes were used to airlift UN aid workers out of Bukavu.
We must find a provisional solution immediately to avoid an escalation of the situation on the ground.
This evening, a new refugee crisis looms in Central Africa. Again, the traditional hatred between the Hutus and the Tutsis has provided the dangerous spark. Mark Ferguson, National 9 News.
Australian pitcher Graham Lloyd has made history in helping steer the New York Yankees to victory in the Baseball World Series. The left-handed relief pitcher from Geelong was called up in the 6th inning to remove one of the Atlanta Braves' top sluggers. It took him just 3 pitches and the Yankees won 3-2. And it now seems unlikely that champion English jockey Frankie Dettori will be coming to Australia to ride in the Melbourne Cup because of commitments at home. A brief look at the national weather now. Drizzle with afternoon showers for Sydney, but it should be fine in the other capitals. That's all the news for now. Good night.
This has been a National 9 News presentation.